to the Cinementalists. Noun, plural. Definition, those whose love for movies runs so deep, they can't help but do a podcast about them. Hosted by Colton Robertson and Joseph George.
Hello everybody and welcome in to the Cinementalists, and today we are continuing Cinema Surprise Season 2. It is my second choice of the season with Cléo From 5 to 7, released on April 11th, 1962, written and directed by Agnes Varda. I am Colton Robertson. I'm joined by Joseph George. What's up, homie?
Oh, what up, what up? Always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it's always a pleasure to have you, and we've got a really, really good one on the docket today. Last week we had that conversation off mic about our favorite directors and wanting to expand our tastes a little bit. And, you know, we talked about how there aren't as many women directors that we feel like we've given the time of day, and we need to correct that. And I felt like a very good place to start here, anyway, would be Agnes Varda, because I fucking love this movie and I love her as an artist. And this was my second viewing of Cléo From 5 to 7. I think my first viewing of it was just a couple months back. So it's still very, very new. It's not new for me. And I mean, I adore it. How'd you feel about your first viewing of Cléo From 5 to 7?
I didn't know what to expect from the movie at all. I knew it was just, we're going back. It was just woman-led. That was basically all I knew kind of going into it. And then the... I guess it was, I watched it on Max, but it was through the Criterion Collect. You had that little, they had a little intro or a little, hey, good choice, great movie selection. By the way, it's I don't know, it gave a little rundown. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And it's kind of nice to have that going into a movie, I guess.
This film was restored in 2012 right.
But I did not expect it to be. I just saw the beautiful blonde lady on the poster. And that's all I knew going into the movie. And I'm like, did not expect it to be about mortality or just waiting for a diagnosis sort of thing. But a very, very, I don't know, it hit. That's for sure. This is a feeling that I hate more than anything in the world. But a nice. New perspective on it, a new way to look at it. I feel like I'm hopefully through all of this feeling or this impending doom of just waiting for a test result. But no, back in 62, it's nice to know people are going through the same things, and it always, I don't know, it gets me to think of I'm very obviously very, very thankful for my doctors. That if without the hospitals, I would no longer be here. That's for sure. But it like the movie, I think, goes into it a little bit of that. The more you stay away from a hospital, or the closer they get, the more dead the city becomes, or literally there's no life around it, or it is people. It's a weird mix of things, because doctors and hospitals are meant to help you get better, but there is this weird side of it, I feel like, where they want to keep you in there a little bit. It's like they want to keep taking care of you in this weird way or sorts. And the way, I don't know, that news can be dropped or stuff like that. It's not a very human or emotion first business. It's a very just, they gotta be by the book, I feel like. So it was nice to get the other side of it, of, the medicine you really need, or of just living life and not letting it get to you. So I mean, I didn't expect it would go down this vein, but it was, I don't know, a movie of perspective, a movie of the short film that was in the middle of there, the silent film, which was pretty cool, of the sunglasses and everything is black, or it changed how I saw the world for a little bit. Now, just simply choosing to take your glasses off, or in the real world, or choosing to just look at the world a different way, and it is, I don't know, purely a decision you can make, so it is, I don't know, it was I didn't necessarily like well up or have like many cry moments through the movie, even though the emotions were there and like there's a lot of, just things to go off of. But the ending, it was like all of it welled up, or all of it just came up to a moment and then just was like, oh fuck. I was like, oh shit. And just out of that, the last line, I don't know, really was a beautiful way to end the movie. I think the most beautiful way to end the movie.
Oh, dude, I love the last moment. I think my fear is gone. I think I'm happy. I love that. And it's another reason I've mentioned this to you off mic when I first watched the movie, and then last week when I teased it for our next project. I think that this had, and I do not know this, I have no idea if he's a fan or anything. I do think this film and Agnes Varda at large had a pretty profound impact on Wes Anderson as a filmmaker, because, that pattern that you talk about when you discuss how it affects you emotionally, where you don't really feel, it doesn't hit you, it doesn't wallop you until like the end. There's one line at the very end that you're like, oh, all this has been building to this, and now I'm here, and it hits. So not only visually, but writing-wise, I feel like there's a lot of influence to be taken to one of our favorite filmmakers. And I do really, really adore the movie. I think you're right about it's all a matter of perspective. I love the mortality angle is always something that's going to be interesting. The moment she stops, my favorite line in the sand, which is again just a matter of perspective, is every minute that passes 1 minute closer to death, or is it another minute lived? Like am I living, or am I waiting to die? And I think that's something that they do a really good job. In some capacity, both. But the way that there's a shift that happens during this movie when she goes to visit her model friend. When she starts to realize, okay, maybe I need to live instead of waiting to die. And instead of wallowing in this, instead of letting it dictate the way that I carry myself, I need to go to the park. I need to go see the trees. I need to go see life. I need to, I like the way that this movie handles that line, and the moment it shifts and she meets the man who's going to come into her life, and he's a surprise, but there's something wrong, and she's like, oh, it's my diagnosis, it's all a matter of perspective. No, it's the fact that he has to leave. It's the fact that he has to leave. It's not the fact that you are waiting for your diagnosis, it's he's just not going to be there at the end of the day, but he comes into your life and he makes a profound impact. I really like that. Also,
but you're here right now. You aren't leaving, So it's I don't know. It was it's perspective, the health, mortality. You also have this beauty, or people looking at you, like the literal perspective of people looking at you, or maybe like wanting to be seen, or to show your exterior. You want it to be as pristine as possible to not let people know you're doing bad inside, or you can't show weakness, and she is she just a celebrity, just a singer, or just
she's a singer, which I think it's an interesting thing to think about, where there was a point in time where if you were a famous singer, you might not be recognized on the street.
It's just your voice.
Because it's just your voice, and people might go see you in concert halls and stuff. But even then, they're not putting your face on a giant fucking screen. If you sit in the back, you have no idea what the motherfucker looks like. Now, I mean, obviously, magazines and shit like that, it's a different ballgame. There are plenty of people who will still know what you look like, but
But she had the pressures of all of that, though, of her agent, kind of keeping her on, or I'm suffocating or what, and she's, oh, we'll do some exercise while you're at, and then to kind of just keep everything on point, and to keep doing, making music, the guys that come in, that fake being the doctors or whatever, and then oh, we'll cheer her up, music is always a way to cheer up, but that's just kind of their job. It's just what, and she even does say you're exploiting me, or this is I can't take this anymore, oh my gosh, I just want to live right now, and I can't think of anything else, and then she gives a fucking performance of a I don't know, that shot was so cool too. Of like whenever
when she
started
shifts her
singing,
perspective to the camera,
Oh, and then like because like she's there in front of the camera and everything, like you see the whole room, but then when it just gets her face, it's just the black in the background, and it's just her. And oh my god, yeah, that was really really cool. So yeah, even though it was like seemingly really really simply made, or like it like I don't know, it's not a IMAX, we're setting up the camera to be, this wide shot or whatever. It just felt very personal and like kind of handheld camera, or just like we're there with them the whole time. And I loved how, but there could be moments like that where it did feel very cinematic and change, I don't know, out of nowhere. And there were even some color parts, I guess, the opening,
the very beginning.
The tarot reading, I guess was in color there, and then going back and forth from black and white. So yeah, the filmmaking was, maybe not I guess what I focused on the most, but it wasn't bad. I wouldn't say it was like that it was bad, but I think I was just more focused on just the story unraveling
itself,
and how it was. Yeah. It was cool that we were in real time with them too. Like it was just we're following this hour and a half or 2 hours, whatever we have, with her, and it is literal the car rides that she takes, or like everything from the start to the end. So that was, I don't know, it was really cool that there weren't really cuts. And I guess I still haven't seen it, but the Before Sunset or I don't know if that's the first one, but the Ethan Hawke.
Before
is that
Sunrise.
One?
Yeah.
Are those in real time, or are there cuts in?
They are not in real time, but
okay.
They are walk and talk films similar to this, which is to say that there's not a ton of plot. It's like there is a cutoff, we're building to a diagnosis in this movie, and we're waiting for it the whole time. Before Sunrise, you want to get everything in before sunrise,
yes,
that is
I gotcha.
Yeah, so I mean, like, it's just kind of like there's a certified end point to the movie before, and that as you are watching it, it's regardless of what happens during it. Not to say that there's no plot, but it's a thin plot, and it's much more a metaphysical journey than it is like and then this happens, and then this happens, and then this happens, and then this happens. It's just carrying yourself from day to day. So yeah, it is very similar to the Linklater Before trilogy.
I like this vein. I guess there hasn't been many movies. That was the only one that came to my mind, and I haven't even seen it, of a movie to try to compare to like this, because I don't know. I was trying to think of just sort of where we're following around someone and not a true. Yeah, like there is the structure of we are getting to the end, but before that, it does just feel like a.
Yeah, it's
and documentary is the wrong word. I feel like it's just it's not, because documentary is more, all right, let's sit down and talk. Like we're taking you out of your daily life to talk about it. I feel like, but this is like just a snapshot of life. I feel like is maybe we're just taking a Tuesday, and what. I've never heard this before. Is this a French thing? Never wear something new on a Tuesday, or is this just another?
I have
way
no
for
idea.
Her agent
I've never heard that.
like,
they're all very, very. I mean,
superstitious.
Super superstitious, and I think that there comes a line whenever you are superstitious where you know every superstition. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know it. I don't know enough of them to be able to tell you if this is a old one, a French one. I don't know. But yeah, never wear something new on a Tuesday. I thought I think that's funny. Because it's arbitrary. And I think that by the end of the movie you realize it's arbitrary. They because even her tarot reading, which was accurate, like everything that she did say did happen, but it didn't happen the way that she perceived it at the time. She didn't think that it would. She doesn't even process that she's meeting the man that the tarot card reader said whenever she meets him. It's just kind of like he just kind of pops up in her. Oh, he's a surprise. And he is. They meet, they click. They ride together, and like that's a lovely part of the movie. I really adore the end. Just all of the last. I mean, shit. That's probably only 15 minutes ish. Not
that long. I guess from part when he meets, or when she meets. What's his name? Good old Antoine.
Antoine.
Yeah, I don't know how the French say it. I guess, but yeah, good old Antoine. Maybe
Antoine Bosselier.
Yeah, French is. I feel like I just sound like but no,
I
that
have
was
no idea
definitely
how to pronounce any of these.
the core part of the movie. I feel like it is. The romance. You have a little romance in there. I guess it's not she has her lover, or or I don't know if they're married or whatever. The guy who just comes in and is like, "Oh, I'm just here to kiss you," and that's all I have time for. We'll go out on Friday. Don't you worry about it. And it's like, oh, okay. Well, yeah, and the everyone spoils me, no one loves me, line of kind of that as well. And the I don't know. So just it was always about perspective of every turn of every little thing. So I mean, it is a very to compare this to a Christopher a Interstellar. One of my favorite movies is there's a lot more going on in Interstellar. There's I don't know it's so much you have to be fucking I feel locked in. But this is it's such an easy relax sit back viewing and just take it all in. I don't know, and there isn't much thought going on. It is just kind of oh damn, it more gets me to think of real life experience instead of escaping, which is interesting. I feel
I love a 90-minute movie too.
That's
it's
true.
definitely as long as it needs to be. It doesn't need to be longer than this. I love the part of the movie. There's kind of a little bit of a fourth wall break, a little bit whenever can't remember how long. Someone says it's been 20 minutes or something. She goes, it's been the longest 20 minutes of my life or something like that. Just that little bit of a wink, wink, nudge, nudge. This movie is taking place over the course of 2 hours and it is obviously the longest 2 hours of her life. And she's, she is waiting at every turn for I really, really like that line. And yeah, I mean, I think, when it comes to the filmmaking and everything, like you said, it doesn't have the grandeur and the spectacle of something I'll go back to your example, Interstellar, but I do, I've come to appreciate the merit of the small, intimate film. And I think that there are shots in this movie that are some of the most beautiful images I've seen put to film. It reminds me of, anytime I go to a museum and I stand in front of a painting and I go, a painting from I don't know, the early 1700s. And I go, 300 years ago, someone stood where I am standing and painted this. You know what I'm saying? That's, someone stood right here with a brush, with the utensils required, and made this happen. And I'm looking at it now.
And now you're there.
And now I'm there and I'm looking at it. That's how I feel whenever I watch this movie a little bit. I think that the way it captures a time and captures a place at that time and the beauty of it, I don't know. It's even though it's in black and white, it feels so lush. It feels so vibrant, which is bizarre. I don't even know how that's possible. One of my favorite settings is the restaurant they go to at the beginning with the mirror behind her and the kind of disco mirror ball wall sort of thing going on, on the posts and stuff. I don't know what that is. I really dig it. But it makes it brings the levels out. It's so crisp and beautiful. I don't know. It's and there's a lot of stuff like that. One of my favorite shots is towards the end of the movie whenever they're going to catch their bus and they walk down those stairs and they they get to the top of the stairs and you watch them go all the way down with the railing center frame and they run all the way over to the bus, and then when they get off the bus, there's this shot where the sidewalk goes down and the train tracks on the right-hand side of the screen go up. And I don't know why I love that shot so much, but just I don't know. I adore it. I think that there's there's just a lot of really, really, when you do revisit the movie, if you do revisit the movie, I should say, because it's not necessarily one that you ever feel like you need to. It was just one that I knew was worth talking about. now that you know the story, I would definitely emphasize the filmmaking is, I mean, it's kind of unbelievable. It's beautiful.
I don't want to say that I didn't notice it at all. It was just more, I think my brain was more focused on the story unraveling. Because, I mean, there were some certain shots that were, like, clear of that they were setting, you know, whenever she's sitting in the swing with the angel wings behind her.
Right.
And, like, getting into that white dress, you know, and
well,
I feel
her
like...
room. Like,
yes.
I'm not even
my
sure
God,
how that's
her
possible.
room is so cool. Like, what's possible?
I mean, the image, like, she's the darkest thing in the room. It's crazy.
I see. Yeah,
like, that room had to have been painted pure white, like everything.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Now looking
like,
at it, that's true. I mean,
you know,
it's
like,
so...
I mean, like, if we were to see that in color, the entire room would be the brightest white you can possibly imagine, and then everybody else is just kind of in it.
Wow. Yeah. And the black, I feel like her clothes, her attire, like she changed into a black dress, you know, whenever she, you know, I'm going out on my own, whatever, you know, and now I'm no longer in my angel attire or looking, you know, pure white and like the sunglasses sort of thing. She's this is the way she's thinking right now, and that is like it's so weird that like there's only two answers you can be given: yes or no. It is a fault or a, you know, positive or not, and that is worse than just knowing that you actually have whatever you're being tested for. At least to me, like I would much rather know right in the very moment, yes, you have cancer. All right, let's see what the next steps are, instead of just simply waiting 2 days to find out. Like it is. Yeah,
and this is the case for every test.
That's
know,
fair.
Like,
not just
any
medical.
test.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like, and not just like a diagnosis, like a pregnancy test. The worst part about a pregnancy test is waiting to see what the result is. You know, you're like, because you know, one way or the other, you can deal with it. Once you know, it's fine. You know, but like, it's that like, what's it gonna be? The suspense and the this. I mean, when you do take an actual test, like on paper. You know, you turn it in. If you're not confident, but you're like, I don't know, I think I could have done good. You know, like it's not that you're not clueless, but you're not confident. You know, like you're like, I could have done well, but I also could have bombed. I have no idea. Like that sort of tension. And once you know, you're just kind of like, okay, well, nothing I can do about it now.
And
which is funny because there was nothing you could do about it before either.
Yeah, and that's what made me. I used to freak out like this. It still is, I feel like, a problem of mine, but it used to be a lot more common of a problem. And a doctor kind of sat me down and he was just like, dude, he's like, I know this sucks, but he's like, everything in life you wait for, like, you know, you're just ultra focusing on this test and making it everything. And that's why it just is so much, but it's, you know, there is, I guess it is all perspective. You can either be a minute closer to death or a minute, you know, more lived. And it is like everyone on planet Earth is getting a day closer to death. Every single person is closer to dying than they were before. And that you could choose to look at it that way, and it is dark, but it's like even if I have a test or I'm not doing well, it's like, well, everyone else on Earth, we're all barreling towards our death. And that's just like, I used to look at it that way, and now I'm much more, you know, taking every minute or day, you know, and at a time, and that's a lot. It's a lot more comfortable. I don't know. Right. It's a lot better to not just worry about these things, and because it is, it's like obviously I don't want the result to be, you know, positive, or I don't want to have another something, but it is just this strange. It's not the test. It's not even the disease. It's not even anything. It is simply the anxiety or unknown.
Right, because this movie doesn't end with her finding out she doesn't have cancer.
Yeah, she does. Yeah,
she does have cancer.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. But even that, she's like, okay, cool.
Thank God. You know, she's like, it's over. Like it's like, oh my God, I just don't. It's known, you know, at least. And I think it's more of in this case, if it's something that's serious, like, you kind of know before the test comes back actually a little bit, and that's even
she
worse.
Clearly does.
Yeah. That's even worse. Is like you're in your head saying, "Oh, I know I'm kind of fucked," or like I know deep down there's something wrong, but I want it to be no. But then, yeah, it is just
and not only that, but the way the doctor handles it has to help. You know, like the way he goes, yeah, it's gonna be okay. We're just gonna do radiation for a couple months, and we're gonna figure it out. Okay, yeah, I'll talk to you on Monday.
But and she's say Antoine wasn't there. Say it was just her by herself. I don't think she has the same reaction. I think this experience of meeting Antoine and going to the hospital physically and not taking the phone call, it like that is what changed this or her to be happy about it. I feel like because if the other option is she never met Antoine and just stayed home or never went out and just called the doctor and the doctor told her, yes, you do. We will start chemotherapy, and like that sucks. I feel like, over the phone like that's
right.
bad. If she's by herself, she's only been in that movie. Her other friend that posed kind of changed her perspective a little bit. But I feel like Antoine was really the one to kind of be like, okay, she still. I think everything changed whenever the doctor did tell her. But I think through Antoine a little bit, or just that the things they shared, it got her brain to be less focused on the result and just life in general. So I do wonder like what the ending would have been if Antoine didn't if they didn't meet at all and it was pure. I think she still has the relief of being like, okay, I know, thank God, but she already kind of felt dead before, I feel like, which is that's the
I think definitely the journey she has over the course of the movie is definitely important to her realizing that she's alive, she could already be dead, and she's not.
Yeah.
So it's like, fuck it, man. Like I might as well make the most of it while I'm here. And I think that's, again, the tarot card reading at the beginning, it's the card for death. And she goes, oh, well, fuck me. And,
yeah.
And the tarot card reader was like, hey, the death card doesn't necessarily mean death. And I'm like, okay, well then what the fuck are we doing here? I mean, I'm not, but regardless, she's, it could mean a rebirth, a transformation. Something's going to change your life. And it does change your life, Yeah, I really do love that.
The palm, she's like, all right, fuck, then just read my palm. And she's like, I don't read palm. I don't know how to read palms, too well, actually. And she's like, damn it. She's like, fuck, this is not going well. But yeah, it's, I don't know. I wonder, if to not be medical or so medical, if it is just this, generic waiting, and that is all it boils down to is
fear
of
the unknown. I think is definitely a big part of it as well. Not just like the anxiety of waiting for a test result or a diagnosis or anything, but like the not knowing, the unsureness. I think that I think that leads her to the tarot card reading, which freaks her out more. It doesn't help her at all to try and know until like. There's nothing she can gain from trying to figure it out, especially in a scenario like that where she has all of her information and not outside factors, like all she knows is that she might have cancer. She goes to a tarot card reading, and if all she knows is that she might have cancer, everything's going to be painted in a light that's like, well, you probably have cancer and you're going to die, and that's all she's able to tell the tarot card reader. So that's all the tarot card reader can even begin to think, because whenever she leaves, she's like, man, if she has cancer, she's fucked. That's what the cards are telling me. But that's not true. It's all she knows about her because she's just a fortune teller.
And I guess I've had the actual news of like, no, you do have something, but there has been multiple times where I have thought that the result was going to be very bad, and then I got in there and it was like, oh no, actually nothing showed up. We're good, and so it was like there have been times where it actually went the way that it, I would have preferred, but that, I don't know, those moments were still like, it was, one was like a week long of waiting, I feel like, and that was, it was just one of, I don't know. I couldn't do anything for that week. Like it was just it took me over, and and then that day after, I'm just like, what the fuck was I doing that whole time? You know, for what reason? And it's like eventually I will kick the bucket no matter what. Something will do me in. You know, I don't know what it's gonna be, but it's like I feel like you know, I should more than anyone try to live as you know, not quickly as I can. That's kind of the bad
as fully
idea,
as you can.
But yes, so I think, you know, the more the cards are stacked against you, the more you should just, I don't know, be grateful for what you got. And yeah, that's whatever every one of those experiences has just taught me of just ignorance is bliss in some way. You know, I envy a little bit the people who lived like before hospitals and before they were really a thing. You know, on one hand, you know, their medicine is very nice and we live a lot longer.
Other
now.
hand, you know, I don't die at
benefits.
33.
Like, yes,
yeah,
obvious benefits, but like
Hopefully.
like cancer, was that even a known? You know, like
yeah. Right.
Did no one would have known, I feel like, back then, if you even had cancer, if you were, you know, there were things on the exterior that you could see, like, oh, you're not doing too well. But like Cleo, if she lived way back then and she's looking, there's nothing on the outside that is showing that she is like wrong or whatever. So it's like you just don't know, and you continue on living that way as if you don't know. And I feel like there is some legitimate like placebo effect there of like, if you truly believe that nothing's wrong with you, then you can actually heal easier a little bit than if you're in this mind of, oh, you have A, B, and C, and you know, the possibility for X, Y, and Z, you know, and all of these tests that we have nowadays. It's like, is that something that is actually wrong? You know, is it something that is truly wrong and needs to be fixed, or something that is just I don't know, something that everyone deals with, you know, sort of thing. But yeah, this kind of back and forth I have with the hospitals and medical field of, I am very, very grateful for all they saved my life. I can never, you know, say that I don't, I want hospitals to be abolished or, you know, whatever. That is not what I'm trying to say. But I think what I've learned is that you have to balance like both. You have to not let the doctors dictate everything for you, but then also you can't dictate. You know, you got to take, you know, just both sides of the perspective, I guess. Yeah, you got the legit science, you know, behind what it says, but then also I think the emotional, you know, what your body's telling you is also very important. And Cleo, I don't know, she needed to just live, you know, and it's simply that, like, simply just go out, go talk to your friends, or go. Like even
important to note also that what you're saying is not go and take some sort of horse dewormer.
Yeah,
you know, because you think that's okay. No. That's one of those things where you do listen to the doctor.
Yeah,
just want to make that clear.
I'm more of I take as little as I possibly can. I try to do everything as natural or without a chemical or pill or anything. So yeah, but no, listen to your doctors. They go to school for a very long time, and it's hell, you know. And not easy. They know what they're talking about. But I do feel there is this, you know, maybe a savior complex a little bit with some doctors. You know, it is their job. It is what they are supposed to do. But like there have been some doctors that just, I don't know. Their air isn't completely. I want to help you get better. It is, I want to fix you. I want to be the one that fixes you. And, you know, if the result is the same at the end of the day, that's fine. But this, like Antoine, I feel like is the best sort of medicine. And her other friend that she was with, Dorothy. Yeah, like that's sort of the best medicine that she could have gotten, in this time. And it kind of exactly what she needed, but no doctor would have ever said that, you know. No, he prescribes or says, you know, obviously we need to do chemo, and that's the next step. But and Anton, I guess, is leaving, and Dorothy just whatever. But they both offer like like Dorothy's line, I forget the exact way she said it, of like, oh, I can't believe you pose like that. I'd feel so exposed. And she's like, no, it's not like that at all. You know, like, obviously, yeah, but they're looking at me differently. They're seeing a shape. They're seeing an idea. They're seeing whatever. And she's,
I might as well not even be there. Yeah.
Yeah. And so that was really cool of like that. And then Antoine kind of going back on that idea of being nakedness or nudeness, something it should be for everyone, or like that bench over there.
Nakedness is summer. It's for everyone. Very. I love, life, death, birth, all that good stuff. It's love, I think he says. I really do. I do adore the sort of thematically life fulfilling perspective the movie has, like just kind of going, fuck it, man, live because you can. I really do adore that. I think that there's a lot of love there, and I think that this movie, like when it comes to Antoine, the thing that gets, like, you're right, like Antoine was the best medicine, like it was the medicine she needed in the moment to help her head, and to help her feel better. But it's not just because Antoine, like now she has Antoine in her life. No, it's because it's more like what Antoine represents, like he's possibility, she can go anywhere and meet someone randomly, and all of a sudden she has a better, her life is better than it was before. And is there a sadness in the idea that, he's leaving? That sucks. But like, if it was only going to be for a couple like an hour, if that, then fuck it, man. What are we going to do then?
Either happened or it didn't, it could have been nothing, could have zero interaction. She went to the park to just be alone. She was just waiting for the call, or to make the call. She was never going to go in person herself. She was never, she was just kind of wandering a little bit, and then one interaction, they're not going to get married, or who knows the future for them, but no, that the idea is, it is just this one interaction they'll have, and definitely a very important one, I feel like, for her, because I do the ending. It is, Blue Velvet wise, we're getting fresh off Lynch, of not maybe the happiest endings, but technically a happy ending with Blue Velvet, and this kind of in the same vein. It is, well, she has cancer, but everything, we're good. Like she's good.
Ready to take it on. She's ready to go for it, and I think that's if you admit defeat before you've been defeated, you lose. Like if you go, I'm gonna die. There's no point in even living. You're done. There's nothing you can do. And I really appreciate that this movie is like, nah, fuck that noise. You gotta live. And I think that's always just fundamentally a sound perspective to take. And
you gotta fight. I don't know why. For fucking, and then to party, but no, this and I like a very, like, there was a time in my life where I did not think I was making it. I did not give myself like months even, I was like, and the line, a line that did get me, I did say that I didn't really well up or have much emotion during the movie, but she's just in the taxi. I think it's with her agent. I don't know who it's with. But she asks, "Aren't you afraid at night?" And someone just responds, "Afraid of what?" ? And then she just doesn't say anything, and it's just kind of like I don't know if she is. It might just be the anxiety of figuring out, I guess, but just the fear of falling asleep and not knowing. Am I going to open my eyes the next day? That was like I don't know, a just nightmare on 5 billion. I feel like it was just it caused a lot of, I don't know, not good time. But
anxiety,
yeah. But then the and just having, how to bring that up to someone else. Hey, are you having bad dreams? You having nightmares? It's not really that. It's like, hey, or are you afraid? Afraid
are you
of
afraid
death
you won't wake up in
night?
the morning?
Yeah, afraid of dying. So, but I am luckily, I think that experience though, going through that, I feel like is what makes me see life so different. Like if I didn't go through that, I would still be in my, not to say I'm mature. I am definitely not at all, but I was living life very, very wrong in or at least how I see it now. I was not living life the way I
felt like you were
should've.
closed off, maybe.
Yes,
I get that. I get you.
And now it's I'm taking it all in. My
beautiful
my life
flower
goal,
blooming. Yeah.
Yes. I just want to learn as much as I can, and that's what I thought my only goal was. If I have one goal, it's just to learn, taking as much knowledge as I can before I go. But I've added a new thing, and it's kind of the same, but to take in as much art as I can. I think it's a different vein. Knowledge and art, I feel like they can be one and the same, but I want to make that distinction of not just to learn and to research, but no, I need to get the perspectives, like you said, of a artist 300 years ago standing in front of a canvas and making it. Now you can stand there and whether you're thinking the same thing the artist did or something completely different, it's like that's the whole point. Like that's the point of it all. And that's I don't know.
And to connect it to that, we all have just truly different experiences of the world. To go to your line, that line there, the are you afraid? Aren't you afraid at night? Afraid of what? Not only can you interpret that in that way, that's like, are you not afraid that you won't wake up in the morning? But you could also just to go back to that fear of the unknown. That is fundamentally why people are afraid of the dark, because they don't know what's in it. True. They don't know what's behind this veil that you can't see through. And the other perspective being like, afraid of what? Why the fuck would I be afraid of that? One of my favorite elements of the movie is the people you overhear. There are a lot of conversations happening that you don't get to hear the full conversation, but you hear a couple lines, like Cleo eavesdrops on them. She hears them for a couple lines and then returns to the conversation she's actually having, or they're driving past somebody and you hear a couple lines, or the radio is going for a little bit longer and it's just that for a second and then you don't get to hear how it ends. Like, one of my favorite things in day-to-day life, and I've had this thought, I don't know how many times, but it's specifically when I'm in a place I'm not in often, and one of my favorite examples of this was when I was working at my last job. I was sitting at the back door and I was looking out the back door and there was like a creek that ran behind the building. Okay. I mean, probably, 200, 300 feet away. And I mean, far enough to where if people were there, I can't articulate them. I can't really see them, but I can, there's people walking. Yep. And I'd see people walking and I'd kind of go, I will never see those people again. And they have entire lives. That's just such a fascinating thing to think about for me. Like, they exist completely separate from my experience of the world. Yep. I may never see them again. And they don't know that I'm standing over here thinking about them.
Yep. Not
that's so
they thought the same
and
thing. Maybe they caught a glance of you and thought the same thing, but you'll never know.
Never know. And I think that's what's so cool about this movie is that it makes a point to go, it makes a point to look at all these people, because it's loaded with these side conversations and these people passing by and, everything in the park, just like the part whenever it flashes from person to person, like looking straight at the camera, like Cleo thinking about them. Like they all have their own experience of the world. They are all, they could be going through a similar thing, but she'll never know because she's doing this. She's in her existence. And I think that's I don't know. I've always been very moved by that concept that there's nothing you ever do will make you capable of knowing everybody. And
good old
the only person you'll ever really know is you. And I think that's beautiful. It's not, I don't think that's sad.
We are all the main character, it is, and yeah, like you're the main character of your own story, obviously, but then on one given day, you could be the main character of someone else's story, you know?
Yeah.
And yeah, kind of like we said in Blue Velvet, of like, you can never know what's going on inside of someone's house, you know? You could be one house away, and there is just something fucked up going on over there, and you'd have no clue. And it's like... Or something on the contrary. They could be dancing to music in their living room. You don't know.
Yeah, you know, true. Like it could be beautiful every bit as it could be a nightmare. And I think what I love about a movie like this is it reminds me, you know, I'm not the center of the universe. You are not the center of the universe. The listener is not the center of the universe, but we are. Yeah. You know, like we're
all in the same earth. We all might have different perspectives, but we're all in the same home. You know,
we're all in the same boat, man. Yes. We all want to live. We all want to love. We all want to live, and that's fundamental. I don't know. So I really love when a movie can just kind of strike that tone and kind of go, just really emphasize the beauty in everyday life instead of a grand spectacle of a fantasy that you're never going to actually be able to experience. Like Cleo from 5 to 7 is something that a lot of most people will experience in their lifetime, you know?
Yeah. And I mean, maybe it's not even maybe it's just like a job interview and you're waiting for the call back, or, you know, I mean, literally just waiting for anything. I think, it's just, we all have anxiety, you know, we all clearly, you know, we think of the future, you know, I feel like, but I guess there are some people out there that I did mean to bring this up on Blue Velvet, but I didn't, of the fact that I thought that everyone had a voice in their head at one point in my life. Right. You know, everyone talks to themselves, right? Like everyone has that internal monologue.
Yeah.
No, actually not. And that was a crazy revelation to make, and that just not everyone
does. That must be so fucking nice not
and
having one of those.
And then it got me like, am I the crazy one, or is it more crazy to not have the voice?
Or is either crazier than the other, you know? Like is it just a thing some people have, you know? I've always been compelled by that concept too, you know? Like cuz I mean, I absolutely do. Like I hear my thoughts.
Too much.
You know, it's not honestly. Like my thoughts are like compulsory and I hear voices. No, that's not what I'm saying.
Dude,
you know, like
no, it's not commands. It is just me. Yeah. Well, that's the weird thing. It doesn't sound like me. I can't actually put like a voice to it. I don't see the words, but I don't hear it is I don't know. It's such a weird fucking thing. And but yeah.
Well, like and that's what becomes interesting is like you putting it like that. Is that actually any different than what's happening in someone who doesn't have an internal monologue's head? They just don't look at it the same way. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, is it just another matter of perspective? Like, cause you're right. I said I hear my thoughts. I don't strictly hear my thoughts. You know, I feel my thoughts and like I can they almost have a shape, which is a weird thing to say. Yeah. Like I can, they take up space in my brain and I can feel them there. Which, the way we process language, I think, ends up becoming auditory. So, like, like whenever I read, do I technically hear it? No, but I know that like I'm processing it. I think that's the way that I perceive it, is hearing it.
So if people don't have the internal monologue, what do they do when they read a book in their head? Like, does it then turn on? You know, does it then? Right. Or is it still, and then
that's why I'm like, I don't know that technically it does and doesn't exist for people. I think it's the way people perceive the way they think.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, some people are visual, you know, like if you ask someone to think of an apple, some people can just see the shape. Some people don't even see the shape at all. Some people can actually see color, you know.
Some people just see the fucking word apple.
That's true. Yeah. But I think that's what I feel like I'm very visual. Like that's how my brain, I feel like things that take up, I don't know, actual space, I feel like, but no, to hear is maybe the wrong word of I feel, I don't know, is real. I think that's better. It is like there is some voice and there are words being spoken, but yeah, it is. And it's, I always just, my struggle is like, that's me, right? Like, that is me forming those thoughts. I sure fucking hope so, is that like,
right.
Because like, but it is like me giving myself advice, which is weird, which is like I don't know. It always boggles my like a song, like I don't know, the thought of Sonder and everyone having their own lives. And I used to think that like everyone was as in their head and just fucking spinning and hearing.
And I'm going to go text to text connection here. I'm going to connect it to the Phoenician scheme because I mean, I had this conversation with Emily like literally last night. She was asking me about something and I gave her advice and she was like, that is like word for word what my therapist said to me. And wow. I was like, and the way that I connected it to, I was like, I don't mean this to sound full of myself or anything. And I don't mean it in the literal sense. I mean it in a more broader text, but I connected it to Liesel's line about prayer. Like
yes.
when I pray, nobody responds. Mm-hmm. It's a time to gather my thoughts, think about what is the right thing, and I ask myself, what would God do, or what would God have me do? And it's usually pretty obvious, like, and whenever you think about things that way, that's why that line hits so hard for me, is because like I didn't realize that's how I think about things. Not in a literal sense, I'm not very religious, so I don't mean that I literally go, what would God tell me to do?
Yes.
But I go, what is the best thing for everyone? What is the best thing for you in this moment? And how does it affect the person we're talking about? And how does it affect, it's
just operating on base instincts a little
bit.
It's like,
and going, what is the nicest course of action, really? Like what is the most humanitarian course of action?
What feels good, what feels right. And it is like a feeling in the bones, or it does come from inside. It is like a and where it comes from, who knows? That's why like my struggle with faith has been this, is like, is that my voice, or is that a voice from the beyond, a little
right.
bit, or like, is it like, it does seem like me.
Is it divine influence that's guiding my hand in any day-to-day situation?
That feels so full of myself. That's why I'm like, to say that I am hearing, I like I'm
touched by
voices,
God.
Like that. It like, no, like this, I have my own brain, I don't know. So it's like, that's,
well, and then like on the flip side, is that full of yourself to think
that
it is
me?
That you have the ability to be able to confuse your own voice with divine influence. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's where I'm like, it's all, that's why I love this movie, because it's all a matter of perspective. I'm not even telling you one way or another what I think it is, because it's either. I don't know. I don't know.
Equally as possible.
It's like, to humble yourself before, it's the fundamental Socrates quote, which is, all I know is that I know nothing. Like that has dictated my philosophy fundamentally for years. I know what I know, and if I know nothing, fuck it, man, but I'm gonna do my best.
I think it's in a Logic song to go from Socrates to Logic is crazy, but
I mean, some would call him a modern day philosopher.
He does have an album cover with all the but okay, anyway, he's like a that grown-ups just don't know shit, and now I'm just a grown-up who doesn't know shit, and it's like we're all just in this cycle of like figuring out slowly, and then we tell our kids, hey, I did that, but hey, it sucked actually for me, and it's like, okay, and then we move on a little bit, we make a little progress just at each human that we got, or each experience we have. And
absolutely. And that's why, like, whenever it comes to getting advice and gaining advice, obviously, experience always helps. I'm never going to be like, well, you're an old fuck, you don't know what you're talking about. No, you probably know better than I do. That's why I'm always going to listen. But there's also beauty in the simplicity of the advice you might get from a child.
Yeah.
Like
super base,
removed from the I don't know, from the weight of adulthood, and just being like, here's the easiest answer. It's like, it's truly wonderful. The mind of a child is the line Yoda says in Attack of the Clones, which I know we're going on Socrates to Logic to Yoda.
That's the whole point of what we're doing. I could even connect it to Alien Earth right now with freaking who's the the main girl, Frick, the AI, the synth, kind of mid or in between human and not. It's like she has a child brain, and she decides to just connect with her brother and give him a message through the, but the programmers didn't even think of that as a possibility. And it's like, well, she didn't really either. She's just going off of her, like, I want to do this. I'm a, and it's, something that a child made the discovery like for them by just being naive a little bit, or just by going off of a base instinct. And that's like why I think like the more we know, does it just get you into your own echo chamber the older and older you get, and you think that you're right in whatever. But if you can just remain a child your whole life and not have to grow up and make money or whatever, if all of the societal pressures are off and you could just live, do we ever, like, does our imagination ever like squander? I feel, I wonder if our childhood naiveness just kind of keeps going, I mean, you do have experience and you will learn things like, the stove is hot. If I put my hand on there, I'm not going to do that anymore. But like,
right.
I don't know. I feel like that's what kids have imagination. And when you grow up, it seems to go away. And that's like all imagination is thinking. You're just in your own head thinking of things that didn't exist before. And that's like I feel like, why would we want to get rid of that? So yeah, I don't know. Have
you ever seen the video of the baseball commentators having like an existential crisis on air?
No. But wow,
it's outstanding. I can't remember.
Wow.
I mean, like it's them talking. It's them talking during a baseball game, of course, because that's when you would hear baseball commentators. And he comes over the mic and he talks about, when you're younger, the world is so full of possibility, and the more you experience, the less you imagine. And and I'm like, it's so funny because, and then he's like, and now it's 2-1. And then he just goes right back into the, and it's almost like a piece of art unto itself that he keeps returning to the baseball game and ignoring this existential crisis he's having, or immediately returning to it. And
now the count's 3-1.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, ball outside. It fucking kills me. But like, I mean, like it's a real thing that every single person probably will experience at some point, is that sort of midlife crisis where you go, holy shit, I'm never going to be young again. Like that's.
Yep. And but you can,
Yeah, like mentally you can
go outside and go play in the mud and, I don't know, and just fucking turn off my brain and just be, if I want to. But it's just the world that's telling me no, that'd be weird, Joseph.
Societal pressures,
man. Don't go outside.
They don't want you to play in the mud.
Yeah, but I don't know why.
The man doesn't want you to play in the mud, man.
That's what the world needs. That's my new campaign. Just
go,
not
mud,
touch grass. It's too simple.
Play in the mud.
just go out. You gotta get your hands dirty. You gotta just truly
eat
connect
dirt
with the earth. But no, that's. I don't know. It's I thought Blue Velvet would get me. A Lynch movie would get me to be having these conversations a lot more likely, and not this. This is not what I expected at the end of this one, and it's thank you for the woman-led and
happy
and
to, because
life movie. Yeah, very.
I mean, it's beautiful. It is beautiful. I mean, the lead actress also, who we haven't given nearly enough credit. What's her name? Corinne Marchand. She is fucking
damn
incredible as Cleo, or as Florence, as we come to realize.
Yes,
I really, really adore her portrayal. It's I mean, super, super quaint, and, she has such, I mean, he says you're a melodramatic or whatever, you love melodrama, like she does, she feeds into that so well, and I don't know, I love her portrayal, so, Cleo from 5 to 7, definitely a beautiful, beautiful movie, one that I've carried with me every day since the first time I watched it, and one that I don't anticipate myself letting go of anytime soon. You were looking for another movie that kind of has this vibe. Perfect Days.
Ooh,
Koji
that one I
Yakusho
need
of
to see
Inventors.
so bad.
You need to see that bad. Yes.
I literally was just looking through my watch list today. On Letter, I was doing a little Letterboxd buff up a little bit or whatever, and I'm looking through, and I'm like, that's on my watch list. Wow, remove. But then I get to that one, and I'm like, oh my god, there it is again. Yeah, it's like, it's like wow. And I haven't even seen it, but it feels so comfortable already. It's like
dude, I love that movie. I love that movie. So yeah, that's just another one that has that sort of slice of life beauty. You know, there's cathedrals everywhere for those with the eyes to see ass film.
Ooh. Slice of life movies. That's gonna be a nice collection eventually to have. I feel like I don't have a lot of those.
Love
but
Slice of Life.
This one's in there. This one,
Chronicles of a Disappearance. It's a really good one as well. I mean, there's a lot of them. But yeah, man, Cleo from 5 to 7. So what I'm gonna do here is some plugs.
I gotta pick a
what's
movie.
up?
I gotta pick a movie.
You gotta pick a movie. You do have to pick a movie.
I think I know.
We're gonna do some plugs. We are going to rate Cleo from 5 to 7, and it won't be from 5 to 7.
Yes.
And we are going to announce what next week's Cinema Surprise is. Joe is going to give us another pick here, his last pick of this phase of Cinema Surprise Season 2. Very, very exciting. And we'll talk about it a little bit, but we're not technically done with Cinema Surprise.
Yes.
When this month concludes. We got a little bit of something in store for October, which is very exciting. But so, I'll just go ahead and dive into that. Here, you can leave a 5-star rate and review and download wherever you might be listening. The Cinementalist is available anywhere you get your podcasts. If you are a YouTube music listener, or if you'd like to be, if that's your ideal platform, we are available over there. So you should go check that out, subscribe and everything, like whatever the fuck you can do on YouTube. Do that. And we would appreciate you sharing us with anybody who likes movies. We also are, I've come to realize when it comes to a movie podcast, we have our base listenership. There's no doubt. But that is extremely minute in comparison to the amount of people who come in because they want to hear people talk about a specific movie. Just because people want to hear us talk about Alien doesn't mean they'll give a flying fuck whenever we get to Cleo from 5 to 7. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things where if you look through our backlog and somebody likes one of those movies, send it to them. I would really appreciate that. And also stick with us because, like I said, you never know what the fuck we're going to cover. We had Alien just last month and we're covering Cleo from 5 to 7 today. So there's a lot to look forward to for us. Because we are going to continue Cinema Surprise for the next couple weeks. Joe has one more pick, and I have one more pick after this for the season 2 of Cinema Surprise. But what we're doing in October is season 2.5, if you will.
Yes.
For the first 4 Fridays in October, we are going to continue Cinema Surprise, but we are limiting it to, horror or thriller or October feeling films, stuff that's building towards Halloween. That's really what we want to do in October. That's how we started this show. That's how we started this podcast last year. We did a full slate of 5 films we covered on Halloween. And so we love that. We love that time of year. I know I do. I love those kinds of movies. So and only getting to pick 2 is a fucking nightmare for me. But I'm excited. We're both going to pick 2 and then we're going to settle on one together to cover on Halloween. So we've got that coming up. We've got, Cinema Surprise, not Halloween version the next couple weeks, and then Cinema Surprise, the Halloween version, all October long. And the only rule there, we're eliminating the decade rule, as far as if one decade is picked, you can't pick it again. But what we are implementing is it has to be from the 20th century, prior to our birth, really. Yes. We were both born in 2000. So, anything in the 1900s, and I include 1999 in that, just everything
in the unknown,
anything in the 20th century, baby. Scary. And it again, doesn't have to be the most horrifying thing you've ever seen or anything, but it's something that feels
Spooky
like the time to cover this is Halloween season, so, cause I've got a couple in mind that I'm very, very excited for. And, Yeah, Cinema Surprise continues into October here on the Cinementalists, so stick with us. We are also doing Twin Peaks Fire Pod with me, and actually we are getting dangerously close to the conclusion of the first 2 seasons there. If not,
it is next Monday, this Monday.
This coming Monday is the last episode of season 2, which is huge. That is a rewatch and first watch podcast, friendly to the first time viewer and rewatcher alike. I'm rewatching it. Joe's watching Twin Peaks for the first time. And if you've watched it, it's a great time to go listen to Joe go wild with his theories. And it's a great time to listen to me egg him on and figure out how to, get little jabs in there that allude to stuff that's coming in the future. I've straight up told him things that are going to happen. And I've acted like they were ridiculous because how could you possibly predict something like that?
When I am obviously predicting the clearly wrong thing and thinking it is completely right in my head at the same time.
It's actually funny how often Joe dismissed the exact right thing
in favor of whatever crackpot thing I cooked up.
Yeah, you're like, and it could just be. You're like, it could just be this, but, and I'm like, oh. No, but.
What do you think of the actual correct answer? What do you think of that? No, not even close. Actually,
no, probably not. Probably not. No, it's so funny. So it's a great time, and we do a lot of scene by scene breakdowns. But here in a couple weeks, we covered Blue Velvet last week. The week after the season 2 finale, so not this coming Monday, but the next Monday, we are covering Twin Peaks Fire Walk with me. And I'm very excited for that. So if you have a little bit more movie coverage you want to get under your belt, we've got that over there on Fire Pod with me. You can go check that out. We are also doing Geek with me right now. Joe mentioned Alien Earth a little bit ago. We are covering that on a bi-weekly basis alongside Peacemaker Season 2. Very, very exciting stuff. We're having a great time on Geek with me, so you got to check it out. I'm also writing a lot on my Substack. Look up Colton Robertson, look up the Cinementalists over there as well, and you will find me writing movie reviews. I'm having a great time. Every month I do something called a Film Factorial, where I do a 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and that's a top 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1 for what movies I'd watched within the month. So the next one will be at the end of the month here in September, but the most recent one was the end of August. So, yeah, got a lot to look forward to. I do a lot of movie stuff. We love entertainment, folks, don't we? We love entertainment. Yeah. Cinema. So, cinema. Solidarity. Let's talk about Cleo from 5 to 7 on a scale of 1 to 10. How are you feeling?
You're right about it not being 5 to 7. We're above that. That's for sure. And
for sure.
I guess it wasn't quite the 5, which was interesting. I gave it a 4.5 on Letterboxd. I don't know what more I was wanting, I guess. But it doesn't feel like there is much more to add. It feels exactly what.
The movie did exactly what it set out to do. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I'm not upset. I'm not. It was beautiful. It looked great. It got me to cry at the end. It obviously got me to think and have the discussion we had. But I don't think it's a perfect movie. I don't know. That's a hard thing to do. I think an impossible task, anyways. But
yeah,
I'm we're riding pretty high. That's for sure. I think I do appreciate it more than the Phoenician Scheme, which is interesting. Says a lot. So, and good faith. Struggle with faith, and the story there was good and crazy. It is Wes Anderson as well, a director I love. But no, I think I will actually. I think I might watch this one more in my life than the Phoenician Scheme. I think confidently I'll watch this one more at the end of my days. Yeah, this one will. I don't know. I think be up there. So I think my floor is a 9 for me, and yeah, Blue Velvet being the 9.75. Yeah, I'm in between the Blue Velvet and the Phoenician Scheme, but I think I like a 9.5. I think for me, I think like just that. 4.5.
I like that. Give it that boost. Give it that boost. Yeah, when a little bit ago, and you said this last week as well, and there's I love rating movies because it's so intensely subjective.
Yes.
And everybody's rating system is different. and ratings are kind of arbitrary as is. But you know, it's just it's a fun content process anyway. So I like rating movies. I agree. This is by no means a perfect movie, and therefore it should not be a 10. But to me, a 10 is a feeling.
That's true.
It's a feeling in my bones. I go, this movie got me to think extremely existentially. It got me to think about everybody I've ever met. You know, not literally, but it feels that way.
True.
I think it's beautiful. I think it's about life itself. I think it's life affirming, and it's romantic, and it's lovely. I go 10.
You've convinced me. It's all a matter of perspective, you know, actually.
It's all a matter of perspective.
And my fucking perspective is, this is as perfect as a movie can get, actually. That's, as this movie. Yeah, I don't know. There's not, I don't want anything more, so why am I below what the perfect score is? And that's the thing, though, is that I came into it confident it's a 10. And I do think there's something to be said for that. If there is hesitate, that's why it's a feeling. And like, that's my perspective of it. You know, I'm not trying to talk you down from it by any means. It's the beautiful thing. Perspectives can change.
They shift. It's an ever changing tapestry. Yeah.
So no, I think it was Wes like of like the everything kind of bottling up and then hitting at the end. The slice of life, the real time aspect. There's not many other movies that I don't know. There's not anything I can compare this to. So yeah, I think it is singular for me. It was a beautiful experience. And yeah, we had a performance that was, you know, not just acting but singing as well, and then like a little short film. And I mean, like, was a cherry on top. It's like, yeah, like yeah.
That like not just that last line, but the line right before the last line. Like whenever he says, "I'm sorry, I'm leaving. I like to be with you," and she goes, "You are."
You are.
Let's go.
Yeah,
let's fucking go.
So yeah, no, I'm convinced. I'm right there with you. So yeah,
Yippee!
No, but yeah, I like a great addition. I don't know. Yeah, great. Maybe I don't know. For the good old experiences I've been through, I think it was a nice. I think I've already realized this a little bit, but this crystallized it a lot more, you know, and made it.
Well, there's a certain beauty and relatability, you know. You're never alone, and there's, you know, nobody. This sounds sad, but I think it's kind of beautiful. There's no truly unique experience.
Yeah,
you know, like there's
we're all
always
living
somebody
the same
who
life.
has been through what you've gone through.
Yep.
And I think that's beautiful. I don't think that's sad, you know.
There's nothing that can be said that can't be, or what is that Beatles song? There's nothing that can be sung that can't be. I don't know, something like that. That's what they say. Is that like, yeah, like you can make a song and someone else can just sing it, but you know, if you don't sing it in the first place, it's never gonna be sung. I don't know. It's paradoxical. You know, it's all a matter of perspective. I guess I sound like a broken record. You know, there.
No, but you're right. You're right.
It
is, and that's what I that's what I loved about the movie, man. I really do just adore it. But all right, sounds like it's a 10er. Sounds like it's a 10s across the board.
Yes.
Which is beautiful. Our first in a long time.
Mm-hmm. That's
as far
true.
as release schedule is concerned.
Let's see. Alien, I guess we would have been.
Okay, that would have been the last one. Okay.
Moonlight, Portrait of a Lady on Fire.
We had a lot in the queer month. Yeah, I forgot.
Yes.
Okay, so not that long. Within the last couple months.
Then to Fallout. But before then, Holdovers. Back to Christmas. You know, so,
Fellowship before that,
yes.
maybe?
And then Fellowship.
Okay. Yeah, I was like, that's gotta be one of them. Exclusive club, but just banger movies across the board, man, and a very wide breadth of palette there, with Mission Impossible, Fallout 2, Cleo from 5 to 7. I love it.
Obviously, the same score of a movie. They are the same movie.
They are. They're the same. They're obviously fundamentally because we gave them both 100% on the Cinementalimeter. They are the same film.
Fuck, I have to pick a movie.
You do have to pick a movie. What are we covering next week on Cinema Surprise, my friend?
Sharknado. That would be hilarious if I just picked an absolute.
I considered doing something like that. Like we do something like this, so we cover pretty much nothing but good movies. You know, like it's. And I want it to be that way. I'd rather cover good movies than bad movies. But there's something to be said for going like, what if I'd picked like Speed 2?
Yeah, fuck it. Like, why not? You know, who cares? I mean, Sharknado, I'm not picking it. I found it's written by Thunder Levin. His name is Thunder, or he or she.
Why wouldn't it be?
I don't know. He or she. I don't know the gender of Thunder. I think you're
they.
They. But no, I'm not picking Sharknado. I guess I can, none of my movies are spooky or October movies. I'm between 4, so I guess I don't really have to hide them. It's not like this is my last pick for the month. So
Give
I guess
me the decades. I'm curious about the decades.
Yes, I'm between a 40s, a 50s, a 90, and an aughts.
Okay.
So quite the span.
It is.
The one I'm most interested in, I can't lie, is the aughts. It is the newer one. And even though I said I wanted to go older, we did just hit the 60s. So I don't know, I was maybe thinking of and we were in the 80s as well. I was thinking, I don't know, maybe bouncing back.
Well, and something to consider is that here in October, we will not be covering anything post 2000. So if there's a time to go with something from the aughts, it is now.
Maybe that does solidify it a little more than I think, because that was the one I was
only say that because I'm considering a 40s movie for my last one. So
okay, wow. So
I'm biased. I'm biased here. So
I will go with the aught movie. But I'll say the other 3 that I was between, I guess. The 40s was, I think, no one debates this one. Citizen Kane. I hear it might be the greatest movie of all time, some say. So I don't know. That was just one that I've been meaning to cross off the board for quite a while. And it was a decade not crossed off. So I felt like maybe Citizen Kane. But I wasn't, only for those reasons of it being known.
Right.
This one, the 50s, I don't know. I don't even know how I really found. I was searching for just like the coolest twists in movies, but unknown to it, like not the well-known like Ex Machina. Or don't give me the Inception sort of movies. So, but I wanted older. And it was. I heard that this movie, there's a twist and then a twist after the twist that happens. But the actor that I guess that played in the movie, he denied going to any award or anything at all to keep the twist and spoiler free, I guess. Like it was that good that he wanted to keep it a surprise. And it was a movie from the 50s called Witness for the Prosecution. So by Billy Wilder that was the
Billy
second
Wilder,
one.
Dude.
That was the one I was
Billy Wilder.
very, very close to choosing. So that was the one I was really between there. But not quite, I guess. And then the other, it was just another twist movie. A lot of people just said this twist is quite great, but the cast didn't really excite me. Nothing really. It was just for the twist and the appeal. The Usual Suspects by Brian
That's
Singer.
wild. I actually thought about that movie at one point.
Wow. Okay. So, but yeah, I don't know. Kevin Spacey was there. That was like I don't know. It was like a
talented actor. Yeah.
I like him when he's the villain in Seven, and he's the fucking
too good
crazy fucking serial killer. But yeah, so I didn't go with that. But what I will go with, it is an aught movie. It does come from the aught itself, from the year I was born. We are there in the 2000s, and it's kind of in pattern with some directors that we've covered, and we've got Spielberg, we got Wes, we got Lynch. I'm just throwing in the last one for me, pretty much on my pedestal, which is Nolan. And it's the one I haven't seen, the one that started it all for him. his first feature film, Memento.
Memento, let's
yes.
go. Okay,
Memento
I'm excited.
or Memento? Yeah, it's Memento. I don't know.
Memento. Yeah,
Yes,
I've never seen this.
I guess maybe an October movie. I don't know. I guess it is thriller and psychological.
As far
thriller,
as my
but,
understanding, it's not. I wouldn't call it a Halloween movie.
Yes,
it may be an October movie, but it's not a Halloween one.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think this qualifies. But okay, I'm excited for that.
yeah.
I've never watched it. It's one that I've been waiting to watch. And I now I've gotta. So I'm ready. I'm very excited. I'm excited to cross that off the list, man. Okay, Memento.
Good old Joe Pantoliano, or how the fuck Pantoliano, good old Cypher, or what is he? Pyoma.
She was a hood, Danny.
Yeah. But Carrie
Ralphie.
Ann Moss as well. That's
Carrie Ann Moss. Guy Pearce, right? Isn't he the main guy?
Yes. Leonard, whoever Leonard happens to be, and Mark Boone Jr. Who was he in Star Wars? Oh my God, this guy he was some mechanic or something in Star Wars. I just know his hair. I think
Mark Boone Jr. This is kind of funny. Mark Boone Jr. is in Batman Begins.
He is. Oh my!
He's also in The Mandalorian.
Oh, he's the job, the guy that they and he dies.
The one that Richard Ayoade was actually in that I talked about a couple weeks ago on the Finishing Scheme.
Wow. Yeah. There we go.
Yeah,
Same
so
episode.
funny little connection there. I know him as the guy that Batman holds over the edge of a building.
Oh, oh my God! Yeah, that's right.
He's like, I won't die at this site. He's like, you're not supposed to.
That's the idea, you fucking idiot. Where are the other trucks going? I think that's the inspiration for that College Humor skit is the. I don't know.
Oh, it absolutely is.
Yeah, because he drops him on his grappling hook and then lets him. Like right before he hits the ground, he catches him or whatever. Is that? Yeah. I think it's that guy, Mark Boone Jr.
Yeah, Mark Boone Jr.
Wow,
yeah,
that's great. Wow, that's
no super. Another Nolan connection there though. So that's he's in the Nolan squad. But yeah, I love. I'm excited. I grow more fond of Christopher Nolan on the other side of Oppenheimer and revisiting The Dark Knight and, Interstellar. Like, his top three is as good a top three as any top three, So it's, I'm excited to see if Memento can, if it shakes that up, I'll be astonished. Yeah. But, if that's the case, I'll have a lot of thinking to do. But I'm excited. Memento next week here on Cinema Surprise. That's a great swing after Cleo from 5 to 7. I like the back and forth. I like
we're going
this way, then we go this way.
Now we're going,
then we go this way.
Not a slice of life. I feel like we're going fucking who knows
brain twisting, fucked up bullshit. Yeah, I'm excited.
So there we are.
All right. Well, fuck yeah. Then I think with that, we can conclude this episode of The Cinementalists, and we'll be back next week with Memento. I was Colton Robertson. I was joined by Joseph George. Thank you very much, homie.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here, homie.
Oh, and it's always a pleasure to have you. And remember, I think my fear is gone. I think I'm happy.